Writers like to write. I am no different than any other writer. Also, writers like to read. You can't read everything there is to read, nor can you write everything there is to write. This is where having interests comes into play. I have gone through phases with the things I like to read. There was a time when I loved reading about romances, especially if they were set in historical places. Then, there was a time when my interest dovetailed with romances, when I wanted to read about adventures. I can remember in 1989 when I became enthralled with Conan. The Conan books were written in 1932 by Ron Howard, and it was not until 1982 that Arnold Schwarzenegger would play Conan in the movies. That was timeless writing. As a writer, if I can get you interested in what I am writing about, I will have done my job. What I am interested in with this video is getting you interested in telling your story. Did you know that pretty much every writer needs to tell their story first, before they can tell other people's stories? I don't know why that is, though the most information you have about any subject is yourself. That makes sense, doesn't it? What happens later is that you can weave parts of yourself into any of your stories. What you will become good at is putting yourself in other people's shoes. I think it helps to begin with your own life lessons. You were there, right? But look at some of the bad things that happened to you. Would you be here today as the person you are now if those old things had not happened to you? What did you learn from that horrible or harsh lesson? Take yourself to pieces, and then put yourself back together again. This is where good writers come from. At least, that's what I think. I like to write scenes with characters I have never met. They just pop up out of nowhere, and we proceed to look for something that has been lost. It, whatever it is, has lodged itself under the bed between two of the planks of the floor. Get under the bed like you were a mouse. You look up and see canvas straps or rope netting that holds the mattress in place. The mattress is filled with wool because the family has sheep. It is a step up from a straw-filled mattress. In the scene above, I closed my eyes and wrote. It's where I get to my own creative place. Granted, having a proper study is good, but my best writing place is behind closed eyes. Would that ever be good enough for a book? Who is to say? Maybe. Maybe not. What matters is that if you want to be a writer, then do it. Begin by clearing your head and writing in a journal. Just the stuff that happened during the day, the dreams you had, the recipes you want to try, your irritation with somebody else, the embarrassment you felt in the grocery store as you go digging in your purse for your cell phone, only to realize somebody else's purse is ringing. You can be a writer, even if you have a full-time job, doing something else. How do you find the time to write? You have to make time. You have to carve out an hour here or a couple of hours there to make it work. What I used to do when I was working full-time was to get up earlier. I would also need to go to bed earlier. But in the quiet of the morning, before anybody else is awake, I would make myself a cup of coffee and write. These days, I tend to write short articles that are up to 2,000 words long. Usually they are shorter. I write them for my videos on YouTube, and I write them for the writing platform at medium.com. I also have a monthly column at pencilstubs.com. Do I get paid for any of this? No. But I write what I want. I do not have to write directions for a microwave or a vacuum cleaner. I write what I want to write. The script for this video ended up being about 1040 words. I actually like writing a book. I have a good idea of what will come next based on the outline I made. That outline can change too. Sometimes, ideas or characters pop up out of nowhere that are necessary for your book. But at least you've got a good idea of where your writing is going to take you. Somebody told me what they did was to stop writing in the middle of a sentence. Leave off with the thought unfinished. Then, in the morning, when you pick up that train of thought, it is easier to engage with your writing again. I have written at least 6 books. I've stopped counting them. Some never made it past 15,000 words. Some are almost done at 180,000 words and just require the editing I can't bring myself to do. Could I self-publish them? Of course. course. Wouldn't it be better to have a publisher? I don't know. I've never had one. Then, you get into the business end of things and have to figure out how to advertise them. Will anybody read your books? These are questions I do not have the answer to. But I can tell you, without a doubt, I cannot stop writing. I must write. I would like to think at least 3 people watch this video and say to themselves, yes, that's what I want to do too. That's my job. To get you fired up about writing. To tell your own story, whatever that story is. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow. Pauline Evanovsky.